today. In the next few moments, I'm going to be giving you some very helpful information that will significantly improve your life. In the next few sessions, I'm going to be also sharing some additional information that will really put you on a path that will totally transform your life. What if I told you that your life can be better? And what if I told you that things can significantly improve with all the circumstances that you face? As humans, we are all different in some ways. Our backgrounds, our DNA makeup, where we live, our height, our physical characteristics, we're different. Yet at the same time, we are similar in so many ways. We're similar in that we seek the same things. We have the same kinds of desires, and the motivations that drives us create some similarity. I'm reminded of a story that I heard some time ago about a man who had two parrots. They were female parrots. But these parrots were, parrot is a talking bird. And these parrots were always saying, do you want to party? Do you want to party? Do you want to have fun? And they, in addition to that, they were speaking all kind of obscenities and very, outlandish things. Some people, when they heard it, they found it funny, and some, when they heard it, were totally shocked. Well, the owner of the parrots got so upset about the parrots' behavior, and they always say they want to party, and they just all kinds of stuff spewing out of their mouth, that he decided to go back to the pet shop to exchange the parrots and to get a new set, or to sell the parrots. What happened when he went to the pet store, as he was complaining to the store owner about these parrots being very rude and always talking about, do you want to party, do you want to party? Another gentleman walked over and said, I cannot help but overhear a conversation. I have a parrot, and he's always praying. He's a very decent and proper parrot. He's always praying. What if you bring your two parrots over to my house and let them see how a good parrot should behave? And the gentleman agreed. So he brought his two parrots over, and sure enough, the other parrot was there praying. He had his rosary. He was meditating. He looked decent. He looked proper. And as soon as the two parrots came in, when the owner brought them in, sure enough, they shouted, do you want to party? We want to party. Can we find someone who wants to party? As soon as the two parrots said that, what happened is that the parrot that was praying looked up, and then the parrots repeated, do you want to party? We want to party. And immediately the parrot that was praying lifted up his eyes, gave a big smile, and said, thank God my prayers are answered. They are similar, but even though they're different. One was very contemplative, one was very, somber, the others were expressive. But they were all looking for the same thing. And one of the things we need to understand as human beings, we all want to be happy. The reason why you go to work, the choices you make, the decisions you make, we are all on a path to seek happiness. We may do different things to find ways to be happy. Some do destructive things, some do good things. But one of the things that motivates us and drives us, that affects our entire life, is this search for happiness. People do different things to be happy. And they think in their minds what they do is is going to make them happy. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Because everyone here does things that, in their opinion, would make them happy. And one of the things that drives people in the world, and even your choices, is that desire, I just want to be happy. I met a lady she was going through a difficult time in life. She was a single mother, and she had difficulty paying her rent, with her car note, and she was totally frustrated. And she said, Asa, I just want to be happy. I don't need a lot of money. I don't need a lot of stuff. I just want to come to a place where I am happy. And then I met a friend who was doing very well. He had a great job. He had wonderful children, wonderful wife. He had a house. He had a great career. He had a lot of material things. And he said, you know, something is missing from my life. And he said, I cannot put a finger on it. I said, you know what? You are missing happiness. He thought for a moment and said, you know what? You're right. That is the missing element. And as I began to speak with him and begin to coach him and guide him through some steps, I saw him about a couple months after. I kept, you know, encouraging him and working with him. After a year, he said, I'm at a better place now than I was then. Everything outside remained the same, but inside he found the joy of happiness. And so we are all on this path. And for years, I've spoken to people, groups of people, at least twice a week, helping them to find a path that will make their life fulfilled. And I've really studied this thing about success. I've studied psychology, I've studied leadership, and I believe I have something that will significantly help you and will move your life on a path that will make a significant improvement to your life. And so today I just want to talk to you about this search for happiness. Because this world can be a very bitter place, very angry place, and people are sad, people are worried, people are stressed out with all the news and the events and in their lives, and people are going around as, many are going around as zombies, some are more expressive, but people are searching for something that will make them happy. That is why they go to parties, they take drugs, they go to work, they find different jobs, they find happiness in relationships, they try to find it in different places. But I want to say something here, that everything that you need to be happy, the most fundamental part of it is within you. Outside in this world, there are many elements that when combined with what you have inside of you, can make you happy. And around in the universe, everywhere you go, there are things that can trigger happiness. But you may say, well, if that be the case, why are so many people unhappy? Why cannot people find happiness? And the best way to demonstrate it is with a plant. If you get a plant and you look at a plant, the leaves are green. And the unique thing about a plant is that a plant can take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and use that carbon dioxide and combine it with light to make food and to grow and to do well. Now, I cannot use that carbon dioxide. I inhale oxygen and I exhale carbon dioxide. We as human beings, we release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We don't use it. But then somehow, the plant is able to use carbon dioxide. Even though carbon dioxide is everywhere, it's common, the plant is able to use carbon dioxide to make food. And the reason why the plant is able to use the carbon dioxide, the plant has something within its leaves that creates the pigmentation that is called chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll that's within the leaf of the plant is able to combine that with sunlight to use the carbon dioxide to make food and to grow and to be strong and to produce fruits and roots and to be able to sustain itself. So even though the carbon dioxide is all around, I cannot use it to be beneficial to me because I don't have the necessary things within me to convert that carbon dioxide into something useful. But the plant, on the other hand, has something within it that will use it to convert what is on the outside to make something beneficial. And that's the same principle for happiness. There are things all around us that can make us happy. There are things all around that can trigger happiness. But the thing that makes the difference is what is on the inside. Two people can face the exact same situation, and one leaves unhappy and miserable and angry, and another person is just content, is happy, or she's happy, and it doesn't bother them. It's not what happened to you that matters, it's what happens inside of you. And the trigger that will make a big difference is who you are on the inside. That is the secret, who you are on the inside. No, when I talk about happiness, I'm not talking about you have to be bubbly and always silly and you act as if you're on some drug. But is this contentment and fulfillment with yourself and with your life? The truth is that when a person is happy, it makes them feel good. The second thing about happiness is that it allows you to function at your greatest potential. There's a genius in every one of us. And your genius is something that you can do better than anybody else. That is your inner genius. And when you're sad or angry or upset, it affects your ability to function at your maximum potential. And how life is today, it requires that you function at your best capacity, unless you do that, you're going to be sucked away into the oblivion and the troubles of life. Not only that, scientists have shown that people who are happy, there's something released in their brain that makes them feel better about themselves. It also makes you look younger, and you feel smarter. As a matter of fact, research have found out that people find that people who are happy, they find them more attractive and more appealing. People who are miserable, angry, frustrated, it affects their health. So today I just want to tell you 3 things that you can do to find happiness. And the first thing I want to say before I get into these 3 things is that happiness is not based on what you possess. It's not about your possession. It's about your transformation. Because as your life is transformed and it's changed, then you're going to find something that will make you very, very happy. And so here are the 3 points. The first thing is that you need to take responsibility. To take responsibility means not to blame anybody, not to complain. People who blame or complain, they don't take responsibility. What happens is that they will never find happiness. Everything that happens in our life is either we cause it to happen somehow or we allow it to happen. And so the first thing to do to find this well of happiness that will make your life better, and the missing element in your life, is to take responsibility. To be responsible, if you look at the word responsible, I have the ability to respond. When you fail to take responsibility, it means you become a victim. It means that you're saying you don't have the ability, you're powerless. Responsibility is I have the ability to shape the life that I want and to create the future that I need. So the first thing you got to do is stop blaming anybody. Stop complaining. I remember there was a gentleman who went to the doctor, an elderly gentleman, and he said, "Doc, my wife is not responding to me. My wife is not, when I talk to her, she's not paying attention to me because when I speak to her, she doesn't answer me back. So, doctor, I think something is wrong with her hearing." So the doctor said, "Okay then, here's what you do. Do this test. When you go home, stay as far as you can from her and ask her, 'Honey, what do you have for dinner today?' If she doesn't respond to you, go closer and ask her the same question. 'Honey, what do you have for dinner today?' And at the point in which she answers, you know how bad her hearing is, and at what point, how close you have to stand to her for her to hear, because she, according to him, she has a hearing problem. So sure enough, the man went home, and his wife is in the kitchen cooking. So he stood all the way back in the living room and shouted, 'Honey, what's for dinner today?' He didn't hear a response. So he stepped a little closer and asked a second time, 'Honey, what's for dinner today?' She didn't respond. So what he did was that he went halfway in the kitchen and said, honey, what's for dinner today? Still no response. The fourth time, he stood directly behind her and said, honey, what's for dinner today? The wife looked at him and said, honey, for the fourth time I'm telling you, we have chicken and rice for dinner. So we see the problem was not the wife. The problem was that he lacked the ability to hear, because she was always responding to him. And sometimes we think the other people is a problem. Sometimes we think life is a problem, and we think other situations are the problem, when there's something fundamental, something fundamentally missing from our personal lives. So the first thing we have to do in order to find this beautiful thing called happiness and to have a better life, you have to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. You have to make up your mind, I refuse to blame anyone, I refuse to complain. I have to say, this is what I'm going to do from this moment on. Because as long as you fail to take responsibility, you have molded yourself in the shape of a victim, and you're saying you're powerless to change things. When you take responsibility, you say, you take back the power for your life and say, I have the power to change things, I have the power to be different, I have a power to make a difference. Not only that, is that now when you take responsibility, you say, I have the power to create my own happiness. If you wait for others to make you happy, you will never be happy. Can I tell you something? No one can love you exactly as how you want to be loved. No one can 100% treat you as how you want to be loved every single time. And the circumstances of life will not always be perfect. But you have to take responsibility and say, I have to now create the world that I need, and I have to be responsible for my own happiness. I refuse to leave my joy, my peace, and this important fact of finding fulfillment in my life in the hands of other people, and I'm at their mercy for my happiness. That means if somebody treats you good, you're happy. If they don't treat you good, you're unhappy. If they don't say hello to you or give you the proper response, you're unhappy. That is too much power to put in somebody else's hand. It's time to take control of your life and to get your power back, get your joy back, and get your fulfillment back. And the only way to do that, to begin to do that rather, is somehow to stop blaming everyone, stop complaining, stop being bitter, and say what? I am responsible for my life, and I'm responsible for creating the future that I want. One of the teachers that I've been studying is Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn told a story. He often tells that story in his lectures about, as a young man, he was struggling and going through a difficult time. And he connected with a mentor. And the mentor asked him, Jim, why are you broke? Why are you unhappy? Why are you a failure at this stage in your life? According to Jim, he said he wrote on a paper all the reasons why he was unhappy. He said he wrote, the economy, the neighbors. He wrote a whole lot of stuff, a long list, because he had that list rehearsed. And many people have a long list. If you talk to them about why they're not successful, why they're not happy, why they're not doing well, they always have a rehearsed story. Sometimes it's reflect action about why they're not functioning. They didn't have enough money, their parents, their friends, their ex, somebody did this to them, somebody did that to them. They have this well-rehearsed story about so many reasons that is not within them that they could not be happy while they're not successful. So Jim did that. He wrote a long list. And he brought it to his mentor. His mentor looked at the list and said, something is missing. And Jim said, what? He said, your name should be at the top of the list. Because you blamed everybody else, but you did not put your name on the list. And it's not being guilty or trying to shame yourself, but coming to the realization that I'm going to take responsibility for my life. So the first thing about finding your happiness is to begin to declare each day, I am responsible and I will take responsibility for my life. And that is the first key. Next session we'll continue and we'll talk some more about some other things that you can do to find your happiness. See you later. Bye.